Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I will start with the introduction of Dr. Mubashir Rehmani. Dr. Mubashir Rehmani done his MS from University of Paris in 2008 and Ph.D. degree from University Paris and Marie Curie, Paris in 2011. He is currently working as assistant lecturer in Department of Computer Science, Cork Institute of Technology, Ireland. He is an author and editor of 2 books published by IGI Global USA and 1 book published by CRC Press USA and 1 book with Wiley UK. He received the Best Researcher of the Year Award 2015 at ComSats. He received the Certificate of Appreciation Exemplary Editor of IEEE Communication Survey and Tutorial of the Year 2015 from IEEE Communication Society. He received Best Paper Award from IEEE Comms Society Technical Committee on Communication System Integration and Modeling in 2017. He consecutively received Research Productivity Awards in 2006 and 2007 and also ranked number 1 in all engineering disciplines from Pakistan Council of Science and Technology, Government of Pakistan. Currently, his performance in the context feature context feature in the top 1% in the field of the computer science and highly anticipated annual list identifies researchers who demonstrated significant influence in their chosen field or fields. Although the publication of multiple highly cited papers during the last decade, the names are drawn from the publications that rank in top number 1% of citation or fields and publication year in Web of Science Citation Index. And now I would like Dr. Mubashir to start with this presentation.
Thank you very much for allowing me to present my work. Basically, in today's presentation, I will be focusing on publishing in high quality scientific journals. So we all know that we are going through a pandemic due to coronavirus or COVID-19. And this pandemic has resulted in a lot of issues around the globe. The whole countries are locked down and the transportation has been stopped. And the good news is that we have the remedy for coronavirus COVID-19, which is resulted in the form of vaccine. So we have 2 famous vaccines right now. The first one is Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. And the second one is Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. So being a researcher, if we want to investigate how these vaccines work or how the researchers and scientists concluded that these vaccines are effective and how they conducted the experiments, how they validated their results, we will not go and see TV news channels, we will not go and see newspapers or any website. Instead, we will be focusing.
आप लोगों को आवाज आ रही है क्या? मुझे तो कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही।
जी सर आ रही है।
Okay. Can you see and listen my voice?
Yes.
Yes sir.
Yes. We are listening you and we can see your slides.
Okay. So we will go and visit the website of scientific journals. If we want to see how Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine works and how they validated their result, we will go and see Nature journal. So I have mentioned the link of this article where we can go and see how basically they conducted their experiments and how they validated their approach. Now, Nature journal has an impact factor of 42.7 and it is indexed by Clarivate Web of Science. Now, if we want to study how this Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine work, so we will go and see the scientific article in which the results of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine has been put. So we will go and find the Lancet journal, and I have also mentioned the link of that journal as well. This journal Lancet has an impact factor of 60.39, and again it is indexed by Clarivate Web of Science. To summarize, if we want to see the scientific content, we will not visit any website, we will not visit any TV channel. Instead, we will go and see the scientific journals, and these are the two scientific journals, the Nature and the Lancet, which publishes highly reputed scientific research. Now, the Nature journal paper in which this COVID-19 vaccine has been proposed looks like this, and here you can see the Oger Sahin and Oslim names are highlighted with the green color, and this is the paper in which the other vaccine was proposed, and it was published in Lancet. So these are the scientific papers where you can find the exact studies of these vaccine. Now the question is, who manages and regulates all this scientific research around the globe, and how these scientific inventions, experiments, and studies are conducted, verified, and published? How many major branches of science are there? What is journal article, research paper? What is an impact factor? Who regulate it? Who issue it? And what is the role of Clarivate Web of Science? And how we can identify which are the top ranked journals, and how we can identify top quality researchers and scientists, and finally, how we can publish in high quality scientific journals. So the goal of my presentation is to answer all these questions, and basically you can see there are some basic questions, but answering these basic questions will help us to go and answer the final question, which is how to publish in high quality scientific journals. Now, first I will go into the depth of Clarivate Web of Science. So Clarivate basically is a public traded company. It is registered in New York Stock Exchange, and its headquarters is in US. It was the intellectual property of Thomson Reuters, and it has a lot of influence and functionality within the scientific community. So the first thing that it manages is Web of Science. Web of Science is basically a database or an engine where the whole world's research information is gathered, and universities all around the globe, corporations, publishers, government, they try to consult Web of Science because it's a centralized database which is owned and managed by Clarivate. So whatever research you do, whether you are doing research in physics, biology, mathematical sciences, computer science, all the research will be organized by the Web of Science. Okay. Then this Clarivate also manages Publons, which is basically another platform where you can trace and verify your peer reviews and editorial contribution. Then you may also encounter when we submit research articles online, there is a system behind it. We log into that system, we register to that system and submit our paper, and then the whole review process is started. So this is managed by ScholarOne, and ScholarOne is adopted by more than 7,000 sites of the journals which uses this is ScholarOne to manage their publications and the review process. So this is again owned by the Clarivate. And then we have Journal Citations Report. Journal Citations Report is basically owned by Clarivate, and they issues impact factor every year for the journals. And then we have the Essential Science Indicator, ESI, and it basically reveals emerging sciences trends. So you can see Clarivate is so much powerful that it regulates all the scientific domains and all the science around the globe, and it is highly reputable. You can even the vaccines of COVID-19 has been published in journals like Nature and Lancet, and those journals are regulated by Clarivate. So you can see the power and importance of this public sector company, which is Clarivate. Moreover, Clarivate also issues every year the list of highly cited researchers, SCR list. These are the researchers who are in the top 1% of their domain around the globe. And it also issues the list of citation laureates, means it identifies the name of the scientists and researchers who are likely to win Nobel Prize in the next year. So this is the whole domain of Clarivate, and you can see science. We cannot talk about science without Clarivate, because the science will not be credible, science will not be authentic without Clarivate. So Clarivate has an essential role in all the scientific research around the globe. Okay, and this impact factor is issued by Clarivate. Okay, and Clarivate is not owned by any certain publisher. It is a general body which has no influence of government, which has no influence of any publisher, or which has no influence of any particular region or any particular sector. They are neutral body, and that's how the research around the globe cultivate and further progress. Now, little bit more about JCR, Journal Citations Report. So basically, we have more than 12,000 journals around the globe. And all of these journals, some of these journals belong to computer science, some of these journals belong to physical sciences, mathematics, biological sciences, archaeology, anatomy, and many other fields. So in total, there are more than 12,000 journals, and these 12,000 journals are registered and indexed with the journal citation reports and indexed by Clarivate Web of Science. And they basically, what they do, they try to manage these journals. For example, if there is a journal which shows some predatory behavior, or which has some abnormal citation activity, or which publishes some degraded or low-level scientific publications, then Clarivate will blacklist that journal and remove it from the JCR, Journal Citation Report. Understand this concept in another way. Let's say you want to launch a new journal, okay, FAST Computer Science Journal. Okay, the name of the journal is FAST Computer Science Journal. Now you want that your journal become credible. People all around the globe submit paper in your journal, and your journal publish high quality scientific research articles. So how you will do? You will first go to Clarivate and try to register your journal with them. And in order to register yourself, basically we call it indexing. So in order to index your journal with Clarivate, there are more than 20 rules specified by the Clarivate, and you have to follow those rules. And then they will monitor your progress for 3 or 4 years, and then they will index you with them in the JCR, and then they will release the first impact factor after 3 or 4 years. So in this manner, you launch your journal and register it, and then each year you will provide input data to Clarivate, and then they will see whether everything is going fine or not, and then they will basically issue an annual list of impact factor for all the journals. So Clarivate has 21 major scientific fields, actually 22. The 22nd is basically the cross field. So they divided the whole paradigm of scientific research into 21 fields, and your journal will be registered, or your scientific research will be carried out under a certain research domain. So all of these research domains will be managed and controlled by this Clarivate Journal Citations Report. So you can see, you cannot talk about any research, any scientific invention, anything without going to a Journal Citations Report. Now, what is citations? Basically, citation is when someone refer your article in his or own work. This is basically a citation, and citations are basically these under the branch of science, which we call as library and information science. And under that category, we have bibliometrics. So citations are very important, and it is a standard criteria for knowing the the credibility of your research. So if you have invented something very good, and your work is very solid and pioneering, then people will cite your work, will refer your work in future. And it's simple to say that someone may say that I do not agree with citations. Well, this is not a scientific way to decline any to decline any concept. If you want to decline the concept of citations, you have to go and do research in library and information sciences and bibliometrics, and you publish your research and provide any other substitute metrics. And there are metrics, but this citation has been adopted by Clarivate, who manages more than 12,000 journals. And there's the whole world of scientists who are accepting this metric. So simply denying the metric will not work. It's not a scientific way. So citations are credible, and they are owned by Clarivate. Now, as I mentioned previously, the impact factor also issues by Clarivate. So it's another parameter, scientific parameter, and it is being adopted by all the scientists around the globe. So as you can see, the COVID-19 vaccine has been published in highly impact factor journal, which is Lancet and the Nature. And this impact factor basically shows you how your work is being cited by other researchers around the globe. So if you see the paper of Nature of the COVID-19 vaccine, or the Lancet paper of the COVID-19 vaccine, you will see the citations grow exponentially. Why? Because they have invented such a thing that it attracts the attention of the whole world scientific community, and then they refer these articles. So citations and impact factor are really very important. Now, how we can calculate the impact factor? So here you can see on the left hand side, you have the journal impact factor, and this is basically published by Clarivate Web of Science, the journal citations report. So on the right hand side, you have the journal impact factor calculation, which is the ratio of the total number of citations that journal receive in 2 years period over the total number of articles published. So on the right hand side, you can see we have the 2019 journal impact factor of IEEE Communications Surveys and Tutorial. On the top, we have 5451, which is total number of citations that this journal received throughout the period of 2 years over the total number of articles that were published in 2-year period. So these are 230 articles. So if you divide them, you will get 23.7. So the impact factor of this journal is 23.7. Now you have two parameters, numerator and denominator. If you try to increase the impact factor, you cannot do it artificially. If you do it artificially, Clarivate Web of Science use very sophisticated data mining techniques to identify those patterns and then blacklist your journal. Similarly, you cannot increase your citations of your article, at least not in the Clarivate context. If you do it, first, it is impossible. Second, if you somehow able to do it, you will not be able to do it with the good journals. So citations with good journals can only be possible when your work is really worthwhile. If your work is solid, you will automatically receive citations. People talk about that work. Now, if we increase the number of articles in a journal publishing, then it will have a reverse impact on the impact factor. So you can find some journals which publishes annually thousands of articles, but their impact factor is not too high. The reason is that because it is on the denominator, So you have to have to control on the number of published articles by your journal each year. And then if you have a solid work published in your journal, then it will automatically increase the impact factor of your journal. Now I will further move towards the ranking of journals, JCR, how it works. So here is the complete list of all disciplines of the ranking of journals. So the rank number 1 journal in all disciplines of science is the Cancer Association of America Cancer Journal for Clinicians, and it has an impact factor of 292. It is one of the prestigious journal of the whole scientific community. And then you have the second ranked journal in all disciplines is New England Journal of Medicine, which has an impact factor of 74. And then you can see Lancet is on 5th number, and then you have Nature journals and other journals. So these are, I just mentioned over here, 20 top ranked journals of all disciplines, ranging from energy to psychiatry to chemical sciences. Now, when we talk about computer science, there are some scientific publishers. Okay, these publishers are IEEE, Elsevier, Springer, Wiley, ACM, Taylor and Francis, and IET. Now, these are the publishers which publishes computer science related scientific research. Now, if we talk about IEEE manages around more than 200 journals. And why we always talk about IEEE? Basically, it publishes more than 30% of the world's current literature in electrical engineering, electronics, and computer science. So it has a great percentage of work, though it has very less amount of journals, but these journals are impactful. Okay. Then we have Elsevier. Elsevier manages around more than 2,500 journals in different subjects. Okay. For computer science, maybe it has 50 to 100 journals. Wiley also manages more than 1,400 journals, and ACM manages around 50 journals. So you can see the landscape and the portion of journals in the computer science domain by these scientific publishers. Now the question is, why we always talk about IEEE in computer science domain? The reason is that among the top 25 journals in telecommunications, okay, IEEE manages 21 of them. That is the reason. It means all the research that is being carried out in the domain of telecommunication and communication networks, including, internet, 5G, Internet of Things, you name it, IEEE controls 21 journals out of the top 25 journals. And in the domain of electrical and electronic engineering, IEEE has 27 journals out of top 30 journals. And if we go into more depth, more specifically, let's say we are focusing on artificial intelligence, which is a domain of computer science. So the first ranked journal is IEEE Transactions on Pattern Analysis and Machine Learning, which is owned and managed by IEEE. And similarly, the third ranked journal and fifth ranked journal. Similarly, if you see other areas of computer science like hardware and architecture, information systems, software engineering, or computer science theory and methods, IEEE has a prominent role in these top ranked journals. So for example, when we talk about information systems, we have ranked number 1 journal and ranked number 4 top ranked journals owned by IEEE. And when we talk about software engineering, ranked number 3rd, 4th, and 5th journals are managed by IEEE. So that's why we always talk about IEEE when we talk about computer science research. Now we move towards different fields. Okay, I will just mention you some of the top ranked journals in different areas of computer science. So let's consider telecommunication as a part of computer science. Okay, so in the computer networks and in telecommunications, we have these 20 top ranked journals. In the next slide, I have mentioned the other 10. So you can see the first ranked journal of telecommunication is IEEE Communications Surveys and Tutorial. it has an impact factor of 23. The second top ranked journal is IEEE Journal on Selected Areas in Communication, which we also call as JSAC. It has an impact factor of 11.4. And then we have different IEEE magazines and IEEE transactions. For example, we have IEEE transactions on wireless communication. It is ranked number 1 and it has an impact factor of 6.7. The main thing that we want to note over here is that each of these journals publishes different type of scientific articles. For example, when we talk about IEEE Communication and Surveys and Tutorial, it will not publish technical article. It will only publish survey and review articles. Okay. When we talk about IEEE Network or IEEE Communication magazines, it will again not publish too much technical article. It will publish the magazine type of articles. And when we talk about transactions such as IEEE transactions on multimedia or IEEE transactions on wireless communication, they will purely publish the technical articles. So, this ranking is based upon the impact factor. But again, if you want to see the actual scientific technical contributions, you will go and read the papers of transactions and other journals which are publishing the technical articles. And if you want to study survey articles or visionary articles or tutorial related articles, you will read magazine and other types of journals. So this is the list of top 20 journals of telecommunication. Then here I am mentioning top 20 ranked journals of artificial intelligence. So the first one is IEEE Transactions on Pattern Analysis and Machine Intelligence, which has an impact factor of 17.8. And then you have other transactions and other journals in the field of artificial intelligence. So you can see one of the top journal is Pattern Recognition, which has an impact factor of 7.1. So this is how different journals in the domain of artificial intelligence are categorized. Then here I am mentioning the ranking of journals with respect to the domain of information systems. Again, you can see some of the journals have made their place in different domains. For example, this IEEE Wireless Communication magazine, it is also in the telecommunication domain, and also it's ranked number 2 in the domain of information system. Now, in term for the software engineering, we have these journals. For example, IEEE Transactions on Software Engineering is ranked number 4 in the list issued by JCR, Clarivate Web of Science. And here you can see the list of journals which are in the domain of interdisciplinary computer science research. And if you are focusing on computer science theory and methods, these are the list of the journals. So to summarize, I have not mentioned the complete list. If you want to see the complete list, you will go and visit JCR, Clarivate Web of Science, and you will get the whole list of the journals. For example, in telecommunication domain, there are around 80 journals in the whole world. And then JCR rank those journals, 80 journals. So you can see total there are 12,000 journals. And in the domain of telecommunication, we have just 80 journals. And if we combine all the computer science journals, they are around 500 journals. So you can see it's just 1% or 2% of 12,000 journals around the globe. So computer science research is just 1% or 2% research that is happening all around the globe. There are other big fields of science like biological sciences or physical sciences or mathematical sciences, which have a more portion in the scientific research. Now I will focus on a few of the basic scientific publication and related terms. So we have different types of scientific publications like patent, research papers, books, book chapters. But in this talk, I am focusing more precisely on research papers. Research papers can be published in conferences as well, but my goal is to just focus on the research papers which are published in journals. And in journals, we have different categories. We have magazine articles, we have transaction articles, we have letters, and we have normal journal articles. So now we focus more on the research papers that are being published in journals. So the first one is technical articles. So the technical article are the core of any scientific research. Okay, you cannot compare technical article with survey article or review article. Okay, if you really want to do some solid research, you will go and write a technical article. And technical article can be categorized into 3 subcategories: normal journal technical articles, then you have the transaction articles, and then you have the letters. Journal articles are articles which are published as a technical article in any publisher like Elsevier, Wiley, Springer, or whatsoever, and even in IEEE. Transactions articles are more prestigious technical articles, and they are majority of the transactions in the computer science domain are owned by IEEE and ACM. And then you have the letters. Letters are basically short technical articles. So the typical length of letter is around 4 pages. And if you have an idea and that idea is short and you want to disseminate it quickly, so you will just write down that idea, technically prove it, and publish it in the form of letter. But if you have an idea that is strong enough and that requires a lot of in-depth technical analysis, then you will go for either a normal journal article or transaction article. Okay, so the main advances of the state of the art and the technical research is published in these technical articles. Then you have survey or review articles. They basically are visionary articles, and they classify the existing literature so that newcomers or readers easily understand the topic. And one of the unique feature of survey or review articles is that it identifies future research directions. Normally people think that survey or review articles are easy to write. You just read 50 or 100 papers and then write it. But let me tell you, it's not an easy task. If it is an easy task, then everybody publishes these survey or review articles. Basically, if you see the ranking of journals, the top ranked journals like Nature, Lancet, IEEE Communication Surveys and Tutorial, magazines, they also publishes review and survey article. The person who is capable of writing those articles need a vision. Okay, the whole broad spectrum of all the research that is going on should be in the mind of that person, and then that person try to identify future research directions and lay down the new horizons of the research. So writing a survey article is not an easy task. Okay, then you have magazine articles. Magazine articles are basically a typical type of article in which you try to float your idea and talk about your vision of the research, but you will not go into more depth of your technical work. Okay, it's just about the general audience, and writing a magazine article is also a bit difficult. And then you have editorials. Editorials basically will be written by, or are normally written by, the editors who manages the special issues and journals. Now the question is, why we want to publish research papers? Well, if we want to involve ourselves in academia, and if we want to involve ourselves in research, research papers are essential, and without research papers we cannot survive in the scientific domain. So typically, if we want to earn a PhD degree, we need to publish research papers. If we want to promote from assistant professor to associate professor or professor, again, these research articles are necessary. If we want to apply, for example, the funding from NASA or European Union or any other research organization, we need to show that we are conducting some credible research and we have published some scientific articles, then we can only get the research funding. And if we want to recognize ourselves in the scientific community, again, we have to publish something to show that we have invented something, we have conducted some scientific research. If we want to disseminate some knowledge, again, we have to publish our scientific research articles. Even if we want to supervise PhD and MSc students, in some universities, they see how much productive a researcher is, and then they allocate different amount of PhD and MSc students, and again to research and discover. So there are many ways to think about publishing research articles and the reasons. Some of them I mentioned just now. Now I want to discuss how the scientific publication process or peer review process works. Basically, when you invent something, or when you propose an idea, or when you technically write an article, you cannot just simply claim. You will write a research article, you will submit it to a journal, and in that journal, your peers, the scientists which are working in your area of research, will be evaluating your work, and they will be more than 2 or 3 persons, and then basically they will give you feedback, and then there's a whole process going on, and then and only then you will be able to publish your article. Publishing your article through a peer review process means you have conducted some credible research. Now, if you see the peer review process from IEEE perspective, basically peer review ensures the integrity of science by excluding invalid or low quality research. So, if you write an article and you claim something and you invent something, and that invention is not practically possible, then when you submit your article to a good quality journal, your peers or researchers will simply reject your article with valid reasons. Why? Because your research is not up to the level of the international research. And this is how the integrity of science is ensured within the scientific community. For example, let me just go back again with the example of COVID-19 vaccine. So when they invented this COVID-19 vaccine, they conducted some experiments, and then they write a research article, and then they submit to Nature or Lancet, and then there were different reviewers who were expert in the domain of vaccination, and then they reviewed the credibility of their work, how they conducted their experiments, how they are claiming, and once they are 100% satisfied, then those articles are published in those journals. And it was really a very tough process, because publishing a single article in Nature or Lancet requires, years of effort and a lot of credibility. So it's very difficult to publish in top ranked journals. I will later on explain the process. But in the peer review process, basically there can be several types of arrangements. The first one is single blind, where the name of the reviewers are not shared with the authors, but reviewers know the author's identity. And in the double blind peer review process, nobody knows, neither the reviewers nor the authors knows the identity of each other. So different journals adopt single blinded policy, some journals adopt double blind policy, so both are acceptable. Now, how this peer review process works? So basically, you write your article, you submit to the journal. It will be first evaluated by the editorial office, and then it will be passed to the editor-in-chief. Editor-in-chief will first look at the contents of your journal submitted article, and then if the paper is good enough, it will be assigned to the area editor or associate editor. Now, the area editor or associate editors will be the main person who will be dealing your article, and the associate editors will be assigning reviewers to your article. Reviewers will be given some time. They will review your article and give their suggestions, and then finally the associate editor will make the recommendation. And if the paper get accepted, the authors will be notified, and finally the paper will be published. There are some more details, but I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the peer review process. Now, I just want to highlight few journal article example. So this is an article which is published in Computer Communications Journal, and it's a technical article. Okay, it has an impact factor of I think 1.2 or 3. We have another example of this article. This article is published in IEEE Transactions on Service Computing. It is purely a technical article. Then we have another article. This article is published in IEEE Transactions on Emerging Topics in Computing. Again, it's a technical article. And here, this article is published in IEEE Communications Surveys and Tutorial. It's not a technical article. It's a survey article. It talks about visionary concepts. And then we have another article which is published in IEEE Transactions on Industrial Informatics. It's a visionary article. So Translation not only publish technical article, but sometimes it also publishes visionary articles as well. And this is an example of an editorial. We have an IEEE Vehicular Technology magazine. And if the editors manages a special issue, they write an editorial. So this is an example of an editorial. This is an example of a magazine article published in IEEE Communications magazine. And this is again an editorial published in IEEE Transactions on Industrial Informatics. So these were a few examples of journal articles. Okay. Now I want to discuss what are the ways of publishing in scientific journals. There are two ways. The first way is open access, through open access. Can you listen to me?
Yes.
Okay. So open access journals basically, normally, if I want to see, any scientific article, I will visit the website of the publisher, and I need some credentials to access those articles. And if I don't have the credentials, I cannot see the scientific research, because scientific research is not freely available in general. So open access journals basically says that they will charge from the authors, and they will make your scientific research publicly accessible. Anyone around the world can access your research. So the intention is very good. The intention is that everyone around the globe can have access to open access content of the scientific research, because this scientific research is funded by governments, and it's the taxpayer money, and the scientific results should be available to anyone, so that the whole humanity can get benefit from it. The intention is very good, but it has been exploited, and it has been witnessed in some scientific studies published in Nature and other journals, that open access journals, few of them are not carefully conducting the review process. Okay, so if you see the ranking of the journals, purely open access journals are not able to make its place in the top ranked journals. The reason is the review process. In open access journal, we have a quick publication time. Even there are journals where you can publish in few weeks, while this is an issue, because you are paying a lot of money. For a single article, you are paying around $1,700 or $2,000 for a single scientific paper. It's a huge amount. In Pakistani rupees, it's around more than 3 lakh rupees for a single article. And Higher Education Commission, government of Pakistan, has a rule all around in Pakistan that if you want to get a PhD degree, you just publish in an impact factor journal. So people try to find easy ways to publish. What they do, they gather some money and they publish in open access, and then in this way they may get a PhD degree. But that is not an ethical way. I'm not against open access journals. I'm just saying that how people around the globe, the whole world, try to exploit this open access. Open access in principle is very good, because your intention is to make your research publicly available. Okay. Now there has been some research conducted in Nature journal, they proved through scientific evidence that a lot of journals which are claimed as open access journals, you submit whatever you submit over there, and they will finally accept your paper because money is involved. Okay, but again, I'm not against at all with open access journals, and it's a good area to target. If your work is good enough, you can you can make your research publicly available. There is no issue. Now, on the other hand, we have subscription-based journals. So subscription-based journals, basically, you don't have to pay a single penny. Okay, if you see top-ranked journals, they are subscription-based journals. They are not open access journals. Okay, and not everyone can access these journals. General public. Okay, you need to have a subscription either through your university or through Higher Education Commission or through yourself by paying some amount of money. They do not charge any single amount of money from the authors. So if you have a research article, if you have a scientific invention, if you have a scientific discovery, you write a research article, you submit it to a subscription-based journals. Now, they will not charge you a single amount of money. All the things are volunteer, but definitely since it is subscription-based, it is volunteer work. It takes time. Okay, it takes time, even 6 months or a year to get your first decision. So this is an issue with the subscription-based journals, that it takes long time, and also it gives you very strict review. So if you are planning to submit in, let's say, in Lancet or in IEEE Transaction on Wireless Communication, they will not charge you a single penny, but they will give you review feedback in 6 months or in 8 months, and their review will be very tough because they have made their reputation. Okay, and this is the review process. This is the feedback that they provide to the authors so that they publish top quality research. So we have two paradigms in summary: the open access and the subscription base. Both have advantages and disadvantages. Now, I personally, if someone asks me, I will suggest to go for subscription-based journals because they are the actual venues, they are the top quality journals. Now, if you want to even make your research publicly available, what you can do once your paper get published in a subscription-based journal, in a top-ranked journal, you can make it open access. That is possible. You can put your paper on different repositories. If your intention is to make your research publicly accessible, why not you publish in a top-ranked journal and make it publicly accessible? That is the way out, instead of going to purely open access journals which publish and accept your articles within few weeks, and they do not provide top level of review to you. I'm not saying that open access journals are not good. They also publish good research as well, but this is my opinion. I will suggest to go for subscription-based journals. Now, I want to give you some tips in publishing in these top-ranked journals. So until now, I have described a few basic terms and how the scientific research is going on around the globe. Now you have some basics of the whole system. So we discussed. So the first tip is that if we want to publish in a top-ranked journal, then we need to read papers from the top-ranked journals. This is the first tip, because there is a process called GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you read some low-level scientific research, you will think like that, is this research, or is this the level of research? So we have to increase our level of intellectual capability and capacity. So let's make our habit to read from top-ranked journals. I have mentioned previously top-ranked journals of computer science in different subdomains. So if you are working in the domain of artificial intelligence, just make your habit to read from the top 10 journals of the field of artificial intelligence. If you are working in the domain of computer networks or telecommunication, try to read top-ranked journal papers. this will increase your capacity, and this will help you to understand how actual research is being conducted at international level. Okay, if you go and read substandard paper or low level papers, the capacity will not be developed. Okay, so this is the first tip, because when you read from top ranked journals, you will know how they claim, how they identify the research problem, which research methodology they adopt, and how they validate their results, and what are the recent topics on which they are working. And this can only be done by reading from the top ranked journal articles. The second tip is that if you really want to publish in a top ranked journal, okay, in your field, then try to make a target. Okay, let's say if you are working in the domain of artificial intelligence, then you have the list of 50 top ranked journals. Okay, you just target 4 or 5 journals and then focus on those journals. Try to read a lot of articles from those journals and then try to see what is missing in your article. Means when you read from the IEEE transaction image processing, then you see my work is also on image processing, how they articulate their problem, how they validate their problem, and why I'm not articulating and formulating my problem in the same manner. You will also see some other technical details as well in those articles, and then you can match and try to increase the level of your research article. The third thing is that quality work is more important than quantity. This is very important, and I'm just quoting a शेर. परवाज है दोनों की इसी एक फिजा में, करगिज का जहां और है, शाही का जहां और. So basically, you can publish as many papers as you can, but those papers will not have any worth in the scientific community. A normal ordinary people will look at your profile and look at your page and see, okay, you have published hundreds of papers, but within the scientific community, the scientists and the researchers who are expert in your domain will not even reply to your emails if you contact them for collaboration. I'm telling you based upon the experience. The good researchers, they are very much they are very much conscious about the quality work. And quality work basically also means that how you select your co-authors. If you want to collaborate with any researcher, then always see what's the reputation of that researcher. There are ethical researchers, there are non-ethical researchers. There are people, if you write your article and you collaborate with them, okay, those researchers are not ethical researchers. Having their name in your paper and collaborating with them will negatively affect on your research profile. So if you see the top ranked scientists around the globe in the field of computer science, they are very much careful about the co-authors, about the collaborations. And even if you make a paper ready, 100% ready, okay, and you give them, please collaborate with us, they will not collaborate, because for them research papers has no worth. They want to produce impactful research, and they want to produce a quality research. So first thing is that they will not collaborate with anyone. Okay, second thing is that they will look at your co-authors list. If they found that there are some unethical person with whom you have been collaborating in the past, they will never collaborate with you. So be very much careful about the quality work. The fourth tip is that every journal has its own style in terms of scientific contribution, write-up, page limit, and depth. And once we identify the top-ranked journals, okay, we then look which type of contributions they required, what is the style, and then we will adapt our style according to the journal requirement. Then the fifth tip is that if we are working in a certain domain, let's say information systems or telecommunications or machine learning, then we try to find the top authors in our journal, in our targeted journal, and then we try to see how they write the article, how they contribute, and how they handle a research problem and how they propose a solution, and then try to observe those top authors, okay, and then try to think how we can do the same level of research as they are doing. In order to publish in a top-ranked journal, we also need to follow the technological trends. So IEEE Computer Society and IEEE Communication Society each year issues the list of top 10 or 12 technological trends. I just mentioned the link over here. So in order to publish in in a top-ranked journals, you need to work on a technological trend around the globe. For example, blockchain, quantum computing, federated learning, metamaterial. So you can get yourself aware about these topics. And if you see the top-ranked journals, they are more or less publishing in those in these topics. So identifying those areas is also important. Then basically, when you publish and submit in a top-ranked journal, you will receive very tough reviews. And don't give up. Rejection is often in the top-ranked journals. So I will say that झपटना पलट कर झपटना लहू गरम रखने का है एक बहाना. When you write your article and you submit it to a top-ranked journal, it's very probable that your paper will get rejected if it's not up to the level. So do not give up. Just see why your paper has been rejected, what are the comments that has been given, and how you can incorporate those comments and then improve your paper and then try again. Okay, it will take some time, but at the end you will be able to successfully publish in a top-ranked journal. Now another tip is quite general. You need to look at the ingredients of a top quality research article. You will also see how they validate their idea, which mathematical modeling they are using, how they are proving the theoretical bounds, how they perform the complexity analysis. And if you are working in the domain of wireless communication, then you also need to drive closed form expression and other mathematical formulations. So when you look at the top ranked researchers, you will see how they formulate their problem mathematically. Are they going to use game theory? Are they going to use random matrix theory or optimization techniques? So we have to formulate our problem with any state of the art appropriate mathematical modeling technique as well. And then our work should have an impact. But what impact these articles bring? Means you will find people, they are saying that just publishing research articles has no meaning. Well, if you see about Newton and Einstein, at the time they published, their articles, their ideas, it has not a direct application in the coming years, and their results will be visible after, half a century. Shannon has written an article on the capacity, and it was just an idea. Okay, so sometimes when you do your research, you publish your articles, the result will be available after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So do not get frustrated by these comments. Just focus on your work and try to publish in top venues with some impact on the society. So impact can be direct, impact can be short-term, impact can be long-term. It depends upon the type of nature that you are dealing with. And finally, when you want to publish in a top-ranked journal, you have to be very patient, because it will take 1 to 1.5 years from submission to acceptance. So to summarize, when we write our article for our top-ranked journals, we have to see the scope, novelty, validity, and data clarity and compliance, all these things, and jointly together with the previous things, you will write your article suitable for top-ranked journals. Now, I just want to quickly present myself at the end, although I should have present earlier, but just to give you an idea, I did my Bachelor's of Engineering from Mehran University, Pakistan, back in 2004, Master's and PhD degree from France, and I have been working as an assistant professor in ComStats University for 5 years in the Department of Electrical Engineering, And 2 years back, I joined Cork Institute of Technology as an assistant lecturer in Department of Computer Science. I have published more than 6 books, 100 articles, several international conferences and book chapters. I am also serving in the editorial board of top-ranked journals in the field of computer science and telecommunication. Back in 2017, the Ministry of Science and Technology ranked number 1, awarded me rank number 1 in all engineering disciplines all over the Pakistan, and it is issued by the Ministry of Science and Technology. And recently, I have received Highly Cited Researcher 2020 award. These are the awards issued by Clarivate Web of Science. So in Pakistan, we don't have a single highly cited researcher in the domain of computer science. In Ireland, there's only single and alone computer scientist, which is myself, alhamdulillah. I have also received several best paper awards. These are the awards received by IEEE Communication Society. And this was basically an award that I received back in 2015 when I was in Pakistan. And I was received the exemplary editor of IEEE Communication Surveys and Tutorial, which is ranked number 1 journal in telecommunications. So, even from Pakistan, if we work hard and focus, we can receive such international awards. I also receive other best paper awards as well. This is the best paper award that was awarded to Dr. Ayaz Ahmed, who was my colleague. And together with him, I received this best paper award from Higher Education Commission back in 2015-2016. And there are several other awards that I am not mentioning. So any questions, I will be happy to reply you. Any question? If you have any question, you can ask.
I think, sir, there are no questions. People are, mashallah, we are very grateful to you for your time and for your it was amazing, very inspirational. The talk was very inspirational, mashallah.
Okay, so I think there's a couple of people who have who wanted to ask a question, but they cannot. We cannot hear them. Can you write your question on the chat box if you have any? Dr. Gufran, we cannot hear you. Okay. So if there is no more question, okay, I think there is no question. So thank you very much for listening to this talk, and it's my pleasure to be with you. So we have a question. Do you suggest in publishing papers in open access? No, I will not suggest to publish in open access. I will suggest you to publish in top ranked journals, which are basically subscription based journals. Okay. Any other question? Okay, so we don't have any. We have another question. There are some journals which does not have an impact factor. However, they are from leading publishers. So, leading publishers, they often launch new journals. When they launch new journal, it will take 3 to 4 years to get your first impact factor. So I will suggest you to publish in in well-reputed journals which are already established, which have received their impact factor. Okay, so this will give you some more confidence, because if you publish in those journals which does not have received their impact factors, it may affect on your on your promotion, on your PhD degree. So better to focus more on publishing in impact factor journals. Okay, so we are done. So thank you very much to all of you for listening. Take care. Bye.